Let's take a closer look at the drama that has everyone talking. Did Bill Maher's bold comments push Whoopi Goldberg out of The View, or is she simply taking a break on her own terms? What started as quiet rumors quickly grew into a loud, messy online debate. People everywhere began asking whether Whoopi was suddenly let go or temporarily removed in a calculated move. Some fans believe this situation has been building up for a while. They point to her previous suspension as proof that problems have been bubbling under the surface for some time. Others think Maher's sharp criticism gave the producers a reason to make a change. His recent remarks were anything but gentle. He strongly challenged Goldberg's emotional responses and questioned the direction of the show, which may have made things uncomfortable behind the scenes. Supporters of Whoopi say she's just stepping away by choice. They claim this is a planned break and not a forced exit. They've been quick to defend her, saying she needed time to regroup, not a push out the door. But not everyone is convinced. Critics think Maher's strong words shook things up enough to force action. They believe the network may have decided to quietly remove her, at least for now, to calm the storm. Adding to the tension, there are quiet talks about behind-the-scenes disagreements between Goldberg and the higher-ups at the network. These supposed creative differences could have played a major role in her absence. So far, neither Whoopi nor the producers have said anything public, leaving fans guessing. Meanwhile, Maher's supporters feel his honest opinions exposed issues the show had been ignoring. They think his bold approach gave decision-makers an excuse to make a big change. Whether this is just a temporary break or the end of an era, one thing is clear: this feud has shaken The View and stirred up intense emotions across the board.
ABC News announced last night that Goldberg is suspended from The View for 2 weeks.
I think it's a little weird that her network suspended her for sharing her view on The View. I mean, if she's remorseful, why send her away? Isn't it better to keep her and then use this as a teaching moment?
I have a question. Do stupid people get to a point in life where they realize that they're, stupid? Because this is what panic sounds like in legacy media.
No matter where the facts eventually lead, Bill Maher's strong words about double standards and cancel culture have caused a major stir, and the impact is shaking up daytime television in a big way. Even before talk about Whoopi Goldberg's status on The View took over headlines, Maher had already drawn attention to the deeper problems inside the show. He didn't hold back when challenging the idea that celebrities who make mistakes are simply facing karma. To him, that kind of thinking is lazy and unfair. People mess up, he said, but pretending that every consequence is some sort of cosmic justice just doesn't make sense. Maher's message was sharp and uncomfortable. He warned that if people are punished just for saying something controversial, then open discussion disappears. In his opinion, that's a much bigger problem than anything Whoopi may have said. If The View claims to support honest talk and bold opinions, Maher argued, then silencing those views goes against everything the show stands for. Some fans of The View say this situation isn't about holding anyone responsible, it's about controlling the message. They believe this is less about fairness and more about keeping only acceptable voices on the air. Still, Maher hasn't backed down. He insists that if you name your program The View, you have to allow more than one opinion at the table, as I. The controversy grew online. Many people took sides. Maher's critics said he was ignoring important social issues. Meanwhile, his followers praised him for pointing out what they see as an obvious contradiction. The show welcomes tough conversations, until those conversations turn inward. Then, things get uncomfortable. Maher called out this pattern, saying, "The View often celebrates guests who agree with the hosts while shutting down anyone who disagrees." He also brought up examples like Elon Musk, people who get labeled as villains before they've even had a chance to speak for themselves. Maher believes the solution is simple: stop avoiding tough topics and start having real conversations. He encouraged open debate, even when it's messy or tense. According to him, avoiding those talks doesn't protect progress, it stops it. The hosts of The View pushed back, saying they talk about many subjects. But Maher responded that variety in topics isn't the same as variety in opinions. The true challenge, he said, is whether the show can handle unpopular ideas without demanding instant apologies or removing people from the stage. At the heart of it all is Maher's strong belief in freedom of expression. He says no one should be punished for speaking their mind. This latest chapter in the ongoing feud reveals a troubling irony. A show built to promote bold, diverse thinking may actually be limiting it. Maher's advice? Stop shutting people out. Create space for disagreement. That's the only way, he says, to bring back real, meaningful discussion.
To get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
When Whoopi Goldberg was earlier suspended for her controversial remarks about the Holocaust, Bill Maher didn't excuse what she said, but he did stand up for her right to express her thoughts. For him, stopping uncomfortable conversations is a dangerous path. Once you start deciding what's too offensive to say, the question becomes, who makes that call? Maher believes news programs often avoid answering that question, especially when the topics are controversial. At the same time, some viewers of The View support every punishment as a way to stop the spread of false information. But Maher and his followers disagree. To them, the solution to bad opinions isn't silence, it's discussion. That ongoing debate about who gets silenced and why has only added fuel to the speculation about Whoopi's possible removal. And underneath those rumors is a more serious issue. Has The View become more focused on keeping its public image clean than encouraging honest, sometimes uncomfortable conversation? Maher believes the real problem isn't a particular argument or a headline. It's how talk shows like The View treat serious subjects. In his opinion, instead of breaking down policies or exploring complex issues, these programs often aim for dramatic reactions and emotional speeches. Maher tries to focus on real problems like economics, government policies, and global affairs. But often, he says the co-hosts answer with stories from their personal lives or strong feelings, rather than facts or data. He finds this frustrating, and calls it fake outrage, something that might get applause but doesn't solve real problems or help the public understand important topics. One especially tense moment happened when Maher brought up the question of why some people support Republican leaders. He wasn't supporting the politicians themselves, he just wanted to understand their appeal. But instead of exploring that, the conversation turned into moral accusations and shouting. Maher says this kind of reaction blocks honest dialogue and traps the audience in a cycle of outrage and quick judgments. According to him, this is one of the reasons mainstream media is losing the public's trust. He's also criticized The View for giving shallow responses to world crises. Whether the topic is the Middle East or European politics, Maher argues that focusing only on feelings without including the bigger picture does more harm than good. One major clash happened when a co-host said compassion should be the main focus, when discussing global violence. Maher didn't disagree with the need for empathy, but he said it has to be combined with knowledge. Without that balance, he warned, people are left with emotional takes that sound nice but ignore real causes. The host pushed back, saying emotions are important, but Maher didn't budge. He believes kindness without clarity can lead to false solutions and confusion. This moment showed that the argument between Maher and The View isn't just about one topic. It reflects a larger disagreement about how public conversations should be handled. Maher believes the show has traded serious ideas for emotional storytelling and easy applause. And when he appears, whether as a guest or a critic, he refuses to follow the usual script. He doesn't soften his words to keep the peace, and that often throws the panel into chaos. One of the most dramatic moments came when Maher said, "Not every vote for the right comes from hate." He argued that assuming that is lazy and only widens divisions. The co-hosts didn't agree, and what followed was one of the show's most heated debates. It quickly went viral. Online, people took sides. Some said Maher was the only one being honest. Others claimed he ignored deeper issues and simplified everything just to be different. Now there's talk that behind the scenes, the mood on the show is tense. With Maher showing up more and making stronger points, some say the patience of his fellow panelists is wearing thin. The big question now is whether The View can continue bringing him on without falling apart from the inside.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened. Oh my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a f.
Some people close to The View say that a few of the show's hosts are getting tired of dealing with Bill Maher. They feel that his blunt style often ignores or overshadows the real-life experiences of people from underrepresented communities. While these concerns haven't been voiced publicly, behind the scenes, tension seems to be growing. Still, whether viewers agree with Maher or not, his appearances on the show have clearly shaken things up. He doesn't stick to safe topics, and he isn't afraid to challenge anyone on the panel. Whenever Maher is on the show, the usual smooth atmosphere is replaced by unpredictability. Some think this may have played a role in Whoopi Goldberg's rumored exit, though there's no solid proof. What is certain is that Maher's constant criticism and heated debates have only added more fuel to the gossip. His style, bold, direct, and often controversial, has attracted people who are bored with what they see as the overly polite and carefully controlled tone of most daytime TV shows. Even as these rumors swirl, one thing has stayed the same. The back and forth between Maher and The View never truly stops. Every time the show tackles a major topic, it doesn't take long before Maher gives his own opinion, whether during interviews, on his own platform, or through social media. Some fans of The View argue that Maher stirs the pot just to keep attention on himself, playing the role of a troublemaker to stay relevant. But his supporters see a different story. They believe Maher is shining a light on what they consider to be clear contradictions. They say The View presents itself as a place where all voices are welcome, but often dismisses those who disagree with the majority opinion on the show. To them, Maher is not just pushing buttons for the sake of drama. He's pushing back against a system that claims to be open-minded, but sometimes shuts out real disagreement. Because of this, the conflict has grown beyond just another celebrity squabble. It's now something people in the media world are watching closely. There's even talk of a full unscripted debate, Maher versus all the co-hosts of The View, broadcast live for the public. Some believe this could finally clear up the rumors. Others think it would only pour gasoline on the fire. Either way, the audience is curious. At the heart of it all is a bigger question. Did these on-air and behind-the-scenes tensions really cause Whoopi Goldberg to step away? Or is her supposed departure just another dramatic twist meant to keep people watching? We don't know for sure. There has been no official statement confirming or denying anything. The headlines and anonymous sources keep the story alive, but the facts remain unclear. What is undeniable is that Bill Maher's involvement has become more than just a guest spot. His sharp opinions have turned him into a lightning rod for deeper conversations. He challenges viewers to think about freedom of speech, whether shows like The View actually promote all ideas, and if avoiding discomfort is worth the cost of honest discussion. Maher has made his position known. Real conversation requires risk, even if it upsets the usual flow. Meanwhile, The View keeps balancing its public image of inclusion with the reality that not every viewpoint gets the same space. As for Whoopi, whether she's taken a break or been pushed aside, this moment reveals something bigger. It's not just about one person leaving. It's about the ongoing battle over how television deals with disagreement in an age when offense can quickly become a scandal.
And take him seriously and take him literally.
I don't think that we have to. I think it would be remiss of us to not say Joe Biden knows how to do this. Yes, he knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean
he rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just.
But can I mention one thing?
Where do you land on this? Is Bill Maher courageously exposing problems that most people are afraid to mention? Or is he simply stirring the pot to stay in the spotlight? And when it comes to Whoopi Goldberg, was she truly driven away by all the tension and criticism, or did she decide to leave on her own terms without pressure from others? These are the questions people are still debating, and there's no easy answer. What is clear, though, is that we're living in a time when every opinion, every comment, and every disagreement seems to spark controversy. Conversations that used to happen freely now often come with consequences. Maher's sharp, often unpopular views have made him a symbol in a much bigger battle, one between the right to speak openly and the fear of being shut down. He argues that real change can't happen without honest discussions, even if they, make people uncomfortable. Others believe his approach is too harsh and causes more division than progress. Whoopi's situation has become part of that larger story. Some believe she left because the environment became too tense. Others say she's just taking time off for personal reasons. Without a clear statement from her or the network, all we have are guesses. Still, her absence has become fuel for an ongoing debate about how much freedom people really have to speak their minds, especially when they're in the spotlight. This whole drama between Maher and The View isn't just about two personalities clashing. It taps into bigger issues that affect everyone watching, like how shows handle differing opinions, and whether certain voices get shut out more quickly than others. Some believe the media, especially daytime television, has become too careful, too scripted, too afraid of saying the wrong thing. Others argue that being thoughtful about language and impact isn't censorship, it's responsibility. Whatever your view, there's no denying that this clash has people talking, and maybe that's the most important thing. Love or hate what Maher says, his blunt style forces people to ask hard questions. Does avoiding tough topics really protect anyone? Or does it just stop us from growing as a society? And is it truly possible to create a space where all opinions are heard equally? Or is that just a nice idea that rarely plays out in reality? As the story keeps unfolding, it's worth watching not just for the drama, but for what it reveals about where we are as a culture. Are we still able to handle disagreement, or have we become too quick to silence people we don't agree with? Thanks for sticking with this breakdown. If you found it interesting, don't forget to like the video, share your opinion in the comments, and subscribe for more updates. There are more strong opinions and deeper dives coming your way. See you next time.
As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump, a dinner that was set up by my friend Kid Rock, because we share a belief that there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away. And let me first say that to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a comedian, and he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything, except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running this country than hating each other every minute.